in terms of um, the reward formula, I know
Mhm,
that there have been some discussions about changing it.
mhm.
What are your thoughts about that CIP that has been put in? I think they are thinking about introducing an S-shaped reward formula. Does that make sense because I know that when you set up the reward formula, it's not only the rewards, the incentives that matter. Also, the current curve also takes into consideration some security properties of the protocol. As far as if I remember, what are your thoughts about that proposal?
You're certainly right that you can't just do arbitrary stuff. I mean, if you want the paper or the results from the paper to still hold, then I mean, the function must have certain properties, so it must have a certain shape. But um, but it doesn't have to have exactly this shape that it has now. It just needs to have certain properties. So there's certainly room to change something. And I know that we have this change proposal, and I also know that we are, I mean, thoroughly looking at the proposal and analyzing it. So we're certainly working on that and open to improvements. I mean, the complaint is basically that the impact of pledge especially for small pools is very low. I mean, there's at the moment very little incentive for a small pool to put more pledge in. I mean, they would get higher rewards, but that's a tiny amount basically.
Yeah, but
So
I
we are
also think
looking at
that
that.
that's a function of K, right? If the K was 2,000, for instance, right, then
Hmm.
a 2 million pledge would actually be a lot. Um,
Right, that's also true, of course. Yes,
but yeah,
definitely.
so well, we don't know when that's going to happen. So I also understand why they are putting this new shape in there so that a pledge over and above certain size wouldn't actually make that much more, so that you could encourage the entire network to be pledged at a certain level.
Hmm.
But in my understanding, that also introduces some variability in terms of the pledge itself, the level of the pledge, because if ADA is 10 cents, that's one level, right? And
Hmm.
then if ADA is you know $1 or $10,
Hmm.
you don't want to be stuck in that level, which is going to be pretty high at that point. You need to be flexible to move it down, and then the S
Right.
shape actually penalizes you, right, if you are below the ideal pledge.
Hmm.
um, I mean, again, I haven't looked at the CIP in detail, but my general observations would be that if you're adopting an S shape,